There are certain sentences that don't just hurt in the moment, they redefine the entire relationship in a single breath. They reveal something fundamental about how she sees you, how she values you, and what she believes she can get away with. Today, we're going to systematically dissect 6 of them. 6 phrases that, when spoken clearly and without remorse, are not bad communication, not heat of the moment outbursts, not just how women talk when they're upset. They are declarations. They are x-rays of how she really sees you beneath the surface. And once you understand what they actually mean, staying after hearing them is not loyalty or commitment. It's self-abandonment. We're going to break them down one by one, decode the psychology behind them, and explain why. For a man who values his dignity, these are not negotiation moments. They are exit signals. Before we get into the list, you need to understand something crucial about these phrases. Most of the time, they are not accidental. They are not the first sign of trouble. They are the culmination of a pattern. By the time she's saying them openly, she has already tested your boundaries, measured your tolerance for disrespect, learned where your breaking point is, and decided she can cross it without consequence. This isn't emotional overflow. It's emotional leverage. The moment you hear this phrase, your internal clock should start counting down to your exit. This phrase is not guidance, it's not feedback, it's weaponized shame. A real man would buy me that. A real man would pay all the bills. A real man wouldn't complain about my spending. A real man would let me go through his phone. A real man wouldn't need space. Notice what's going on here. She's not talking about your integrity, your honesty, your strength of character. She's not saying a good man owns his mistakes, or a good man speaks truthfully. No. It's always about compliance. A real man is code for a man who does what I want, when I want, how I want. This phrase strikes directly at the core insecurity almost every man carries in silence. Am I man enough? She knows that. She knows masculinity is both a deep source of pride and a deep source of vulnerability. So she hooks your identity to her demands. If you comply, you're real. If you resist, you're defective. And here's the trap most men miss. The definition of real man will never be stable. Today, a real man pays. Tomorrow, a real man never says no. Next month, a real man doesn't need sex. After that, a real man has no female friends, no hobbies that don't include her, no boundaries of his own. The goalposts move because the game is rigged. I worked with a man whose girlfriend used this phrase constantly. A real man would support my dreams, while her dream involved not working and shopping daily. A real man would understand after she disappeared overnight without explanation. A real man would forgive after she cheated and blamed alcohol. He spent 3 years trying to become this mythical real man before realizing the translation was simple. A real man is a man who sacrifices himself and his standards so I never feel uncomfortable. The correct response to a real man is not to defend your masculinity. It's then go find him. No debate, no long explanation, no PowerPoint presentation on all you do. A woman who loves and respects you may disagree. She may want more. She may be frustrated, but she does not question your manhood as a manipulation tactic. The moment she weaponizes real man, she's told you something important. She sees your identity as something she can play with to get compliance. That's not partnership. That's control. This is not tension. This is contempt breaking the surface. When she says, "Why do I need you?" she's not asking a genuine question. She's telling you exactly how she thinks. You are a utility, a function, a service provider. She's conducting a live performance review on your value to her life and implying you are failing the job. Here's the key distinction. Healthy love is about want, not need. I want you in my life is fundamentally different from why do I need you. The first is desire. The second is a cost-benefit analysis. This phrase usually comes out when you can't afford something she wants. You won't abandon your priorities for hers in that moment. You set a boundary she doesn't like. You temporarily lose a form of utility like job or income or availability. You lose your job, then why do I need you? You refuse to skip your mother's surgery for her friend's birthday. Then why do I need you? You say no to another ridiculous expense. Then why do I need you? I worked with a man married 8 years, 2 kids, solid career. He lost his job in a corporate layoff. 3 weeks into his search, his wife said, "If you can't provide, why do I need you? Not we'll get through this. Not how can I support you. Not we've built a life together. We'll adapt." Her first reaction was a valuation check. If the money is gone, what's left for me? He found another job, but he never forgot that moment. She had answered a question he didn't know he was asking. Do you see me as a person or a paycheck? This phrase is layered manipulation. It reduces you to utility, implies you're easily replaceable, frames her as the evaluator, you as the applicant, forces you to justify your existence. No man should ever have to explain why he deserves to be in his partner's life. You are not furniture returns at a store. You are a human being. If she brings this phrase out, understand she has already mentally separated you from the relationship. She's just saying the quiet part out loud. On the surface, this seems harmless compared to the others. It's not. I didn't ask you to is the slow knife. It cuts piece by piece until there's nothing left of your desire to give. You act out of love, initiative, and care. She responds with dismissal. You fix her car on your only free Saturday so she'll be safe. I didn't ask you to. You bring her flowers after a brutal week at work. I didn't ask you to. You take the kids all day so she can decompress. I didn't ask you to. This phrase does two incredibly destructive things. It erases appreciation. It punishes initiative. A relationship runs on many things, but gratitude is the lubricant that keeps the gears from grinding. When there is no gratitude, your contributions become invisible. Your efforts become expected. Your sacrifices become the baseline. Once that happens, love doesn't suddenly die. It slowly starves. I didn't ask you to send a deeper message. The way you show love has no value here unless it follows my script. For most men, love is expressed through doing, solving problems, fixing things, protecting, providing, anticipating needs. So when your active expressions of love are met with, I didn't ask you to, it's not just the act being rejected. It's your way of loving being declared wrong and unwanted. I worked with a man who heard this phrase weekly for years. He upgraded her car for safety, took over house projects, supported her in family drama, showed up consistently. Every time, I didn't ask you to. Eventually, he stopped doing anything extra. Why would he? When he stopped, she said, "You've changed. You don't care like you used to." She didn't miss him. She missed the convenience of his effort without having to respect it. Let's draw a hard line here. Hormonal shifts are real. Period pain is real. Irritability, mood swings, physical discomfort, all real. Acknowledging that is basic human decency. What we are talking about here is something very different. Using PMS or any hormonal state as a blanket justification for ongoing disrespect, cruelty, or abuse. There is a difference between "I'm feeling off, I'm sorry if I'm short today," and "sorry I screamed at you for an hour and smashed your phone, I was PMSing." The first is self-awareness. The second is immunity. Look at when she uses it. Is PMS mentioned before conflict as context, or only after extreme behaviour as an excuse? "Sorry I called you useless." PMS. "Sorry I insulted your family." PMS. "Sorry I said I hate you and wish I'd never met you." PMS. If a man said, "Sorry, I punched a hole in the wall, my testosterone was high," you'd recognise it as deflection, not accountability. Hormones influence emotions. They do not erase responsibility. Every adult, male or female, is responsible for how they manage their emotional state. Needing space or consideration due to physical discomfort is one thing. Claiming a recurring license to damage, insult, or terrorise your partner is another. Guys stay in these dynamics because they're terrified of being labelled insensitive, misogynistic, or not understanding women's bodies. But understanding biology does not require accepting abuse. Compassion doesn't mean self-erasure. This one stings deeply for men who invested time, money, and emotional labour into a long-term relationship. "You wasted my best years on you." Translation. All of the time we spent together means nothing because the end result wasn't exactly what I wanted, when I wanted it. This is not grief, it's revisionism. Often this phrase appears when she wanted marriage on her timeline and it didn't happen. She expected a higher lifestyle than you could realistically provide. She imagined you becoming someone else, richer, more ambitious, different, and you didn't. Instead of owning her choices, she chose you. She stayed. She benefited from what you provided. She enjoyed parts of the relationship. She reframes the entire history as a loss, and you as the thief of her time. The narcissism behind this is staggering. I've seen men who paid off her student debt, supported her through deaths in the family, helped her heal from trauma, built a home together. And at the end, when her fantasy version of the future didn't materialize, you wasted my best years. What she's really saying is my youth, my beauty, my prime could have been traded for a better deal, and you weren't it. This is the end game of contempt. There's no confusion here, no subtlety, no miscommunication. This sentence says, I know you're unhappy. I know I'm not willing to change. I also know you're too afraid, too dependent, or too broken to leave. So here's your fake option. Go. This phrase only comes out when she believes you're financially trapped, you're emotionally hooked, you're terrified of divorce court, you won't risk losing the kids, you believe you have no better options. It's not a sad statement. It's not said in tears. It's almost always delivered with either cold indifference or mocking confidence. I worked with a man whose wife had run up over $30,000 in credit card debt in his name. When he confronted her about the spending, she responded, "If you don't like how I spend, go find someone else." She knew he feared losing time with his children, getting destroyed financially in divorce, starting over alone at his age. She was betting on his fear. And for 2 more years, she was right. Look at them together. A real man would. Then why do I need you? I didn't ask you to. I'm PMSing as a blanket excuse. You wasted my best years. If you don't like it, go find someone else. They all point to the same core reality. You are not being treated as a person. You are a utility, a role, a function, a container for projected blame. Your feelings are irrelevant. Your efforts are taken for granted. Your time is devalued. Your masculinity is a lever to be pulled when convenient. And there's something else they all share. They're tests. Not tests of whether you really love her. Tests of how much you're willing to tolerate. How far can I push before he says enough? How small can I make him feel while he still stays? How much contempt can I express with 0 consequence? Men who leave these dynamics almost all say the same thing later. I wish I had left sooner. Not one says I wish I'd endured more disrespect. I wish I'd stayed another 5 years proving myself to someone who despised me. The temporary pain of leaving is real, but it is finite. The pain of staying is open-ended. Your time, energy, and manhood are not cheap commodities. Stop renting them out to someone who sees you as disposable. The standards you enforce determine the life you live. Refuse to tolerate these 6 sentences and watch how your reality shift. You do not have to convince anyone of your value. You just have to stop staying where it's treated like nothing.